Hello, and welcome to our Signal4 new release series. Today, we're going to cover the October 2025 new release and the major item included in it. So what we can see here is I've loaded up my Signal4 web portal as well as my mobile app. And what we're going to focus today on is the web portal because that's where our new release items are located. So the first thing we're going to do here is the major item for this new release is the ability to insert dynamic content into a category's override message. So to show you that, here I am going to load up my team and I'm going to load up my IT apps team and I'm going to go down to my categories, which you can see here, we've actually renamed to Signal categories. And that's here in the menu option as well as the title here. First thing I'm going to do is I'm actually going to show you, I'm going to send in an alert and we're going to show you what the alert looks like without any modifications made to the category text. So here I just sent in an alert and I'll open up my alerts over here and we'll see here it's just a critical database problem and database system reported error 4918. And if I scroll down, I have a number of parameters that are also sent. And some of this information is kind of important. So I might want to add it to my text or title here. So I can do that here. And I'm going to go ahead and close this alert. And I can do that by going back into my category. And the category that we hit was the priority 1 category. So I'm going to go ahead and expand out that category. And if I scroll down a little bit, we'll notice that in this content section, we now have these little black boxes here for the title and text, which is there by default for all of your categories. However, with this little blue icon, I can actually add information in here. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to create a message from the information sent over to me in the event. So what I'm going to do here is I'm just going to change this to change it so everybody knows it's a priority 1 alert. And then we want to add in a number of parameters. And what we can do here is if we click on this little blue button, it'll open up a pop-up box. And here you can actually select the event source. And what the event source does is it narrows down the parameters you're looking at. You can actually select, for our purposes, we're going to select this inbound webhook for IT apps for my team. And it's going to show you all of the parameters that were received in the last event sent from that endpoint, the webhook in this case. And as we can see, we have a number of parameters in here. So we can choose any one of these and it'll actually tell you when I select it what that last value was. So we'll see here that the system for the last one was a SQL system. So we want to, then we can go ahead and insert that. And we can also apply a number of operators. So we can say, we can extract the information before a certain amount of text, after the certain text, between 2 different sets of text, or up to a specified length. For my purposes today, right now, we're going to leave that as none. And then the bottom option here is we can enter in a default value. And if this parameter is blank, instead of just leaving it blank, we'll actually load up this default value. So for my purposes today, I'm going to go ahead and type in no source system found, letting us know that the parameter is here, but we'd never found a value to that parameter if there isn't one. And then I'm going to go ahead and click on the insert button. And we'll see here right off the bat, it added in this parameter of system right there. And then I'm going to go ahead and add in a space. And then I'm going to go ahead and add in a couple extra parameters here as well. And as you can see here, I've added in 3 new ones for the machine, the database, and the error message, giving me a complete new title with different parameters set in there to give me at a glance the best possible information I want. And you can add as much or as little into this as you would like with as many parameters from as many different event sources as you want to add in here. And the same goes for the text as well. And what I'm going to do here is I'm going to go ahead and paste in one that I have already pre-created here, just to make it a little bit quicker here. And what we'll see here is I'm actually going to keep the text, but I'm also going to, after the text, add in the error type, the error message, and then the system, machine, and database with the errors. And once all of that is set, I can go ahead and click on the save button. And if we go back in, we'll actually see this new information stays in there. And if I go ahead and send in a new alert that hits the same category, we'll actually see that the new message is using these override messages with the dynamic content. And I'll go ahead and send the second one in, and I'll go over here to and here we see that the new alert comes through and it stays in the same category, the priority 1 category, which means it hits our overrides. And we can see here that the text is actually changed. Now we have the priority 1 alert, and then we actually include the system SQL, the machine XA4, the database Signal4, and the error message database is unreachable, all in the title using these dynamic content parameters. And then down here at the bottom, we actually have the same information. We have the database system XA4 reported error 49918, and that's the actual text that was included in the original alert. However, in addition to that, we've added a couple new pieces of information. So we have the error type, it's a system error, the error message, the database is unreachable, the system that's having the error, SQL, the machine that's having the error, XA4, as well as the database. So it just tells us exactly where to go to quickly narrow down and fix this issue that this alert is created from. Now, one of the new items here, one of the good things about these new content is we can actually use the copy button to the right of the blue button to copy the entire text or title and then paste that into another category here. So I'm going to go down here to my category priority 3, and I'm going to paste that in there and then just change the number from 1 to 3. Very simple and easy. And once we save that, then we'll now see the priority 3 now uses the same title with the exception of the number. And I can do the same thing down here again to priority 2 and save again. And that automatically overrides the title for all 3 of my priority alerts with the different priorities, showing us, hey, this is what the priority is, and this is where the alert is coming from and what the alert is. So now then, let's go ahead and see one of these default values in action. So as we saw, I go back in here in my system, and for the system, I put in a default value of no source system found. Now it is the only one I did put a default value in. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take out the system from the alert and the machine. So then we'll actually see 2 empty values here. One with the default value of no system found, and then one with no default value. So it'll just show up here blank. And we'll actually see that in action. So we'll see here with this new event that comes in, we still see the same information, but we see priority 1 alert, no source system found. However, the machine type is just missing because we don't have a default value there. So it's just blank. And we can see that here in the bottom, in the body, as well as in the title. We have the same 2 parameters inserted into both. And in both cases, system has a default value and machine does not. So you can add or not add those default values as you wish. It just gives you a quick knowledge that, hey, the parameter was not found or there was no information in that parameter. And this is our new category override using the event parameters and dynamic content inside of Signal4. Thank you and have a nice day. Goodbye.